You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
From Las Vegas Motor Speedway, tonight is race number 3 of the 2023 A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series, and we're anxiously awaiting to find out who will capture the checkered flag in Sin City. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, where the desert isn't the only thing hot tonight surrounding this 1.5-mile racetrack. Last week, Logan Truard held off 37 other drivers as he vaulted himself into the 2023 playoffs with his win at Auto Club Speedway. There's a cast of characters here tonight in Clark County, and everyone is trying to claw their way to the table to roll the dice. I'm Dave Riegel here in the broadcast booth, and I would like to thank you for making SRM a part of your evening, because I'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, here on Sim Racing Media. And ladies and gentlemen, glad to have you with us tonight as we're at, like I just said, race number 3, and this one promises to be a pretty big deal as qualifying right now underway. We're going to take a look here at Zach Rinker, who just finished, of course, his qualifying effort. RP Allen in the 03 Microsoft machine. He is currently out here getting his laps in as we're going to pull up our NASCAR tower here. Glad to have everybody with us here on YouTube and Facebook. Of course, we should be expanding that Facebook viewing audience. So make sure that you subscribe, turn on those bell notifications to Sim Racing Media on YouTube.com, and of course, here to the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, proudly brought to you by our brand new sponsor. In fact, so brand new we don't even have the artwork finished yet for it. The A Lot Cleaner cleaning company, and proudly owned by Mr. Tony Burt. And let's see if Tony is out here on track tonight, and I do not believe he is. But here he is. Tony Burt not having run his qualifying laps tonight, but Tony Burt, just an absolute all-around great guy, and his company, A Lot Cleaner, which is basically a company that they clean commercial parking lots, Walmarts and other shopping centers and things like that. So when you look around the shopping center, when you go on Sunday, maybe with the kids there to the grocery store or to Walmart, you can thank Tony and his company, A Lot Cleaner, for keeping it clean out there where you keep your machine. And taking a look here, looks like Zach Osborne still qualifying. Most of these drivers all having come out tonight, so pretty exciting. Of course, the point standings have significantly changed. In fact, we're going to pull that up here on our Sim Racer Hub. Of course, you can head over to simracerhub.com and search SNN for all that is SNN points. Right now, sitting atop the points pile is R.P. Allen. He's got no wins yet this season, but quite frankly, he has 2 top 10s, a top 5, and the Money House Racing crew has just absolutely turned it on this season. And you know what? I can't possibly ask for a better group of drivers, because they are week in and week out among the best on iRacing. And when I say among the best, I'm not saying they are the best, but they certainly are up there with the other, professional groups of drivers. Taking a look right now, just 2 drivers not having laid down qualifying. Of course, here in the SNN family of racing series, we have Cup Series on Sunday night. Monday night, of course, is the Xfinity Series, proudly brought to you by A Lot Cleaner. And Tuesday night rounds out our week with the Truck Series, brought to you by Jack Dow Motorsports. And I'll tell you what, these 3 series, a lot of these guys, they're dedicating 3 nights of their week to bring you some exciting racing. And Lauren Jones out here in the number 11 Cheetos Toyota Super, turning his qualifying lap. But, and looks like Lauren is going to bite some grass here. But the new Smyrna Beach native did very well last night, finished 14th in the Cup Series, and now he's going to go out here and see how he can do here in the Xfinity Series. We talk about it all the time on iRacing. There are some drivers that are out here maybe just to run into other drivers and kind of create, let's just say a bad evening, if you will. But there are other drivers that are trying to do this the right way, and quite honestly, Lauren Jones is one of them. In fact, that whole crew over there at Joe Gibbs Racing, you may hear from time to time, oh, they're just riding the back. But you know what? They get it done at Joe Gibbs Racing. R.P. Allen sitting in P3 right now. Chase Cabra, last week's runner-up, sitting P2 right now here on the leaderboard as race announcements are being made. Looks like the last driver to qualify going to be Mark Brewster here in the 73 machine. Take a look as he rolls out of the tri-oval. Definitely not going to be a faster lap. He's got to get down to that white line. He's almost got that Dale Jr. DEI years up, and he's just decided to take that on down here to the apron. As he is now wrapped up. In the corn car from Big Rock is Mr. Alexander Gangler of Sunday Night NASCAR Race Control fame. of last year and the year before, and now here he is, a dedicated driver in the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series. And once again, folks, do want to welcome you in here to the SRM broadcast booth. We're going to get this cleaned up. Let's take a look at these conditions that these drivers are going to be facing tonight, because this is something that we all have to be keeping a close eye on. 86-degree outdoor ambient temperature, okay? And that's not the end of the world. Or I'm sorry, 70-degree outdoor ambient air temperature, 86-degree track temperature. 70 degrees feels great when you're in the stands, but, that 86-degree track temperature, it could be cooler. These drivers definitely like a lot of grip in the asphalt, and when they go to tear it up tonight, you're going to see a lot of beating and banging, as we did see a good bit of that last night in the Cup Series. Tonight, we're looking at a total of 134 laps. Stage 1, as we do have stage racing here in the Xfinity Series. Stage 1 going to end at lap number 30, so that's at the conclusion of lap number 30, when the 10th place car crosses the start-finish line, making it what would be lap 31. The yellow flag will wave, and we will get ourselves re-racked and restacked and ready to go for Stage 2. Stage 2 will end at lap number 60, and of course, then we'll have a little 74-lap run there to the end. The drivers are going to have four changes of tires with a total of 5 sets. So they're going to be laying 4 and racing 5. And, there's a lot of drivers tonight, and I wish I could see some of them pulled up here, as, of course, everybody's pretty much finished qualifying. But there's a couple of drivers that are just absolute wizards when it comes to, tire saving. Because at a racetrack like this, there's a couple of different grooves you can run in. There's a high and a low. There's kind of a middle groove, but it takes a long time for it to come in. We have a couple of drivers that can absolutely save those tires like nobody I've ever seen. And listen, one of those drivers just happens to be the driver of the number 9 car, and I can't even find him. Jeff Carson, where are you hiding in the race standings? There he is. Jeff Carson going to be starting 19th, but this is Jeff Carson may be starting 19th here in the number 9 Micro Center Toyota Supra, but he's going to be my pick to be one of the bigger movers of the evening, as he's going to take his time probably through Stage 1, maybe get a feel for those tires, and then start to really dig in when it comes to Stage 2. And believe you me, at the end of Stage 3, we're going to see him top 10, if not top 5. Leo Bonacasa, good to hear from you tonight in the YouTube live chat. And folks, make sure that you give us a shout on YouTube or on Facebook. Let us know who you're pulling for, who you'd like to see winning tonight, as we do have a full field tonight. Looks like we're going to have 38 going to be taking the green flag. We will get you that starting lineup in just a few moments. But Leo Bonacasa, great to see you. And I see Alex Princeton saying 45 and 90. So we're going to stand by here. And that's because, Alex Princeton, I do appreciate you. So, folks, hold on 1 second here, as I was reading the the truck information for tomorrow night. Stage breaks are going to be at lap 45 and 90 with a total of 200 laps, 6 total sets of tires, laying 5. So they'll have a chance to use all 6 of those sets. You'll have to forgive me, folks. I was reading the wrong thing, but glad to have everybody tonight. Looks like Leo Bonacasa going to be starting on the grid tonight. We'll get a chance to catch up with him momentarily as we're waiting for the drivers to get here at the start-finish line. Drivers, if we could get in our cars. There's our pole sitter, Zach Rinker. Good to see you tonight, sir. And just as we get started, still waiting for the outside of row number 2 here. Of course, Zach Rinker, the St. Charles, Illinois native, going to be sitting on the inside of row number 1. Pole position. Chase Cabra in the number 93 going to be starting on the outside of row number 1. So outside pole for Chase Cabra. Last week's bridesmaid. Hopefully this week he'll be a bride and bring home that checkered flag. RP Allen here in the 03 Microsoft Toyota Supra, going to be starting on the inside of row number 2 with Finn Robinson, our neighbor from across the pond in Shropshire. He's going to be starting the number 26 Chevrolet on the outside of row number 2. Row number 3 made up of Bennett Allen, of course, starting right behind his brother, as Bennett's going to be starting the 15 Chevrolet right here on the inside of row number 3. Eugenio Alonso from Buenos Aires, he has the Jackdown Motorsports 86 Chevrolet here on the outside of row number 3, with row number 4 made up of Logan Truitt, last week's winner at California. He's going to be on the inside of row number 4. Bennett Allen going to be starting. Ryan Honeycutt going to be on the outside of row number 4, with Mike Wright and Zach Osborne making up row number 5. Mike Wright still winless this season, as he had dominated so much of the Xfinity Series last year. Joseph Lester, that talented driver from Damascus, Virginia, the young man who, is out here every week working hard to get it across the start-finish line time and time again. He's going to be joined by Brandon Minto on the outside of row number 6. Row number 7 made up of John Crow Sr. and Kyle Ryan, with Corey Burkett and Zachary Vaughn in row number 8. Matt Gaskins from Parts Unknown and Michael Astuto in the number 39 Cookout Ford Mustang going to be starting in 18th position. Brandon Loomis and Jeff Carson going to be starting row number 10. Cross Junction, Virginia, driving the number 9 Micro Center Toyota Supra. Dylan Ackert and Chad Sander from Smithfield, Pennsylvania, a fellow Pennsylvanian in the 1110 machine. He's going to be starting in row number 11. Gabriel Lafreniere and Doug Argabright making up row number 12, as Chris Custer and Aaron Mack make up row number 13. Chris Claude, your Sunday night NASCAR Cup Series chief cook and bottle washer, starting the number 10 Dasani Toyota Supra here in 28th position, with Alexander Gangler just behind him, with Tony Burt, of course, the owner of A Lot Cleaner, going to be starting back here in 30th position. Mark Brewster and Lauren Jones make up row number 16, with Ron Fitting and Dan Morgan making up row number 17. Starting 35th, Matt White, and then Joe Stafford in 36, and starting shotgun on the field, my buddy Leo Bonacosta, the godfather of all that is SNN, from Long Island, New York. And you have to make sure when you say Long Island that you kind of bounce off that G there, as he is from Long Island. And Leo starting shotgun on the field in the 45 Money House Racing Chevrolet Camaro. So it's also going to bring along Nicholas Breidenbach here from Orlando, Florida. Talented drivers starting pretty deep in the field tonight. But all in all, looks like we've got a heck of a field ready to rock and roll, as we're going to get up here with our pole sitter. As we move down the Nellis straightaway, folks, it's time to get ready. It's time to get set. All these people in the stands, they are on their feet. We're waiting for the pace car to bring us through that 3-4 complex. The lights are out on that iRacing.com pace car. Once again, want to thank you for making Sim Racing Media a part of your evening, as we see the iRacing.com pace car dive down pit road. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. Ladies and gentlemen, grab some popcorn, call a friend, settle in, because we're green flag racing in Sin City. Pretty clean start to the evening so far. Just as we look here at the exit of turn 2 by 2, as if Noah's got the arc waiting here on the backstretch. Nobody giving any room just yet, as we're all but 3 wide coming out. We can see the cars coming back toward that start-finish line. Zach Rinker gonna get credit for that first lap. And I'll tell you what, that is an important lap if you ask me. I mean, once you can lead that first lap, maybe get yourself settled in, get those tires good and warm. He's in the pay-to-win Toyota Supra tonight. And let me tell you, pay-to-win is just a great place if you're into iRacing, if you're into sim racing and you need that setup, and you're somebody like me, you work a full-time job and, of course, doing this in the evenings. You don't have time to sit there and learn about setups, much less as we have connection issues again. This is starting to get scary, as we had that problem last week. Everything's settling down again. But paytowin.com over there, if you're somebody like me and you don't have a whole lot of time to sit there and build a setup week in and week out, Pay to Win is absolutely the setup shop that I would go with. And I know that there are lots of other drivers on iRacing that absolutely swear by Pay to Win. As we get back to the racing here, we can see Finn Robinson in the 26. He's trying to hold off Eugenio Alonso, and Eugenio and Mike Wright getting ready to go at it. Mike Wright drafted right up to the rear of Eugenio Alonso, and a lot of times last season, and it turns out that wasn't me with the connection problems, that was one of the drivers that was causing a blip in the screen. But a lot of what we saw last season was Eugenio Alonso and Mike Wright early on in these races, and here they are tonight yet again, showing us how to get it done. And they've still got a pretty good gap up there to the leader, about 4 seconds. As that is not accurate. I'm sorry, about 1.4 seconds, that's better, up to the leader, but they're going to be battling it out for quite a while. We look back here to Joseph Lester, who's working the low side of Ryan Honeycutt, that Barbie machine. I guess if everybody wanted a Barbie car when you were a kid, Joseph Lester has made his very own, and it's a lot more powerful than that piece of plastic from Mattel, as he has got the Barbie car stuck to that bottom line. He is side by side getting those front wheels right along that left rear quarter panel of Honeycutt. And Honeycutt dropping down, that's definitely going to make Lester a little nervous here, as they're still going to be side by side. You can see the rear end, wow, of the 84 getting a little loose coming through the quad oval here in the front of this racetrack. They're going to be bringing along Brandon Minto, and Brandon, he's currently holding off another battle between Corey Burkett and Kyle Ryan. And I got to be honest, after seeing some of the, wow, Corey Burkett biting a little bit of wall, not much, but just enough there to allow the 27 machine. Of course, the 27 is Kyle Ryan. He's actually the 65, but it must be a paint scheme problem that he's having there. John Crow Sr. in the 95, he is up here alongside the 39 Cookout machine, and that's Michael Astuto. As Astuto trying to get around Corey Burkett, but John Crow Sr. there kind of boxing him down. It's not boxing him in. Oh! And this gets a little hairy coming down the backstretch, but they're able to sort that out as Dylan Ackart now is ready to overtake John Crow Sr. Rolling out of turn number 4, we get here coming across the start-finish line for lap number 9 for these drivers. So far, so good. A pretty decent start for the evening. Michael Astuto doing battle yet again with Smithfield's very own Chad Sanner. We see Chad Sanner holding off Astuto, but Astuto gets a good run here on the low side, which isn't really characteristic of that 1 and 2 complex. A lot of times you're going to see guys here on the high side getting a better run than the low side, and just as I say that, Astuto getting loose coming out of 4, keeps it straight, just a little loose, maybe a little wheel wiggle if you will, but drivers finally starting to go single file as it looks like Doug Argabright just bit some wall. Let's take a look back and see how that was. As it looks like Argabright, nothing major, just a run-of-the-mill kind of wall rub here. We're going to see him on the high side, maybe get a little tight. He just gives a little kiss, gets right back down and right back underway. "11 laps complete as we're marching toward lap number 45 to complete stage number 1. A long way to go in this piece. We're going to see guys stretching those tires and that fuel as far out as humanly possible because, you know, these are shorter stages than we have in Cup racing, and quite frankly, whether that stage is short or not, you want to try to keep that fresh rubber underneath you. I think we're going to see a lot of drivers maybe come down for a quick splash of fuel if they don't have enough, and that pit window should be right there at about lap 45. Checking in with our leader, Zach Rinker has opened himself a 0.2 of a second lead over R.P. Allen. And the Allen brothers now have a combined 0.62 seconds up there to Rinker from Bennett to Zach. And, you know, at this stage in any race, you should be more than happy to just go out there, log some laps, and, you know, keep yourself out of trouble. As so far tonight, and I don't like to jinx it, but so far tonight, no trouble on the racetrack. But back here, it's getting a little hairy with Joseph Lester, Zachary Vaughn, and Michael Astuto as, Vaughn gets loose coming out of 2. He almost rubs into Astuto, but keeps it moving. These two 1110 cars, the 59 and the 91, they're going to be working together. The 59 of Chad Sanner Taking a look at Brandon Loomis in the 09. He's logging his laps. And I'll tell you what, you're probably at a point right here for the 09. This is your first race in the Xfinity Series. This is his debut this evening. As we'll pull him up here from Milan, Illinois. And I mean, you know, when you're in your debut, you don't always want to be making a big splash. But of course, can't say that too much about Logan Truitt, who last week brought home the checkered flag in his very first Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series race. As we can see up here, Logan Truitt from Wellman, Iowa, running right now in 6th position, nice and comfortable here in the 20 machine. That Ford Mustang from KRM. He's winding out of turn 4 and keeping it moving forward. No problems so far. RP Allen starting to close in a little bit on Zach Rinker, about 1/10 of a second as he's starting to draft up on Rinker. You're kind of curious whether or not Rinker is starting to fight, you know, that old tire problem. You know, you can almost feel yourself thinking, gee, it's only 16 laps in, but every now and then you can get a bum set of tires. You know, iRacing might accidentally give you something that maybe wasn't that great. But Zach Rinker's still trying to hold off RP Allen. We're going to pull up the old battle box here. We see these two drivers here in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Just 1/8 of a second separating these two drivers. With 17 laps in the books, it looks like, wow! RP desperately trying to get around, but maybe it's time to let those tires cool off. I got to be honest, though, I don't see that coming from RP. He's definitely one of those drivers that says, I want to lead, and I want to lead now. Still a battle for the lead here with Zach Rinker and RP Allen. No change in position yet, but they're getting close, I believe, as what they've really done is pulled away from Bennett Allen in the number 15 Chevrolet Camaro as he crosses the start-finish line. We're under caution, and Brandon Loomis must have crashed here. We're going to take a look. Taking a look back here, we see Brandon Loomis in the 09, that red and black car. We're going to see what might have happened to him. Unfortunately, it's hard to tell. iRacing timing and scoring isn't always that great. But here it comes. We see Loomis rolling out of turn 2. And something happened in front of him. We'll try to look from the chopper and see if something may or may not have happened ahead of him. Looks like Lester may have had himself a little bit of a problem here. We'll take a look. Looks like Lester and Corey Burkett might have gotten into one another, and that may have been what caused Loomis to lock him up. You see Corey Burkett up here pretty close to the wall. Lester gets behind him. They don't make contact, but it must have been enough that at the same time that was happening, Loomis must have seen that happening and quick locked him up. We'll take another look here. And just as he sees those guys lock up, he goes down, never checked, and just punted Chad Sanner into the wall. Definitely not a way that Sanner wants to get taken down here early in this piece. With 20 laps of 200, still less than halfway through stage number 1. A couple of drivers opting to come down pit road. In fact, several drivers: Finn Robinson, RP Allen, Ron Fitting, Chase Cabra. Looks like Joe Stafford, Eugenio Alonso, Brandon Minto, Dylan Ackert, John Crow Sr., Joseph Lester, of course, Zachary Vaughn, Zach Osborne, Doug Argabright. So a lot of these drivers coming down pit road for service early on here. And for some of these drivers, it looks like they may have taken 4 tires. The only driver that didn't seem to take 4 tires was Chase Cabra. And it looks like he was only down there for a splash of fuel, so maybe he just wanted to ensure that he was going to make it to the end of stage number 1. Once again, welcome in here, Dave Regal on Sim Racing Media, bringing you the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series race at Las Vegas. Glad to see everybody with us here in our YouTube.com live chat. Make sure you head on over there to Facebook, as we should start seeing more Sim Racing Media events on Facebook.com. Of course, we're still trying to work out the bugs with Twitter and being able to stream it live on Twitter, but glad to have everybody with us this evening. So as we get ready to restart, rack 'em, stack 'em, and do this all again, Zach Rinker going to be your race leader with Mike Wright on his outside. Logan Truitt and Kyle Ryan going to be starting behind them in row number 2. Ryan Honeycutt, Corey Burkett, Michael Astuto, they're all going to make up the top 7. But right now, the only thing that matters is number 1. As right now, Zach Rinker has his finger on the button. He comes through the Geico restart zone, and we are back underway on lap 22 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Zach Rinker once again working the lead here. Not really fazed by not taking a break there, as right now it seems like the cars with the fresh tires going to start to be making their way around those that didn't take tires. As it looks like Bennett and RP Allen both came down pit road. That's something we're going to have to take a closer look at, as we're all but 3 wide racing back here a little deeper in the pack, as they are still 2 by 2. As if we're going to the Philadelphia Zoo. We see them rolling out of turn number 4. Wow, the 26 of Finn Robinson holding that high line. We can see Chase Cabra in the 93 holding his ground just ahead with Alexander Gangler in hot pursuit. He was not down, or he was down pit road, had kind of a longer stop. So, let's see who that is. That was a good save by Tony Bird. It's all about, Chris Claude into the wall. Let's see how that all just unfolded. So we're going to take a look here at Tony Burt and what may or may not have happened. And we see Tony just maybe getting a little loose there out of 2. He keeps it moving forward. And just as he's coming up the racetrack, looks like Chris may have tried to get out of the way, which would have allowed, let's see, the 41 of Doug Arterbright to move out of the way as well. Of course, you don't want to be involved in anything crazy so early on. I say that, we're still almost 3 wide as we're 2 by 2, and now under caution with a big wreck. And everything has just gone haywire. I'm going to take a look here and see if we can sort this out at all. There it is. That's Eugenio Alonso right there. Of course, we're going to see Eugenio, who had a tough night last night in the Cup Series. And here we go, back to full speed. We see Eugenio right behind Matt Gaskins in the 79. The 66 of Dylan Ackart tries to split them. And we see Ackart get through, but it disturbed all kinds of air. That was something that we had talked a lot about last night. And that's just a rough night for so many drivers. And of course, it caused so much net code that it makes everything flash like a strobe light. So, folks, we're going to step aside here on Sim Racing Media, pay a couple of bills, and we will be right back.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 29 laps of 200 in the books. Still under caution here after a big wreck on the backstretch just moments ago. Zach Rinker still your race leader, but Logan Truitt has now gotten back up into second position. He started in 8th, so he's up six positions. Right now, biggest mover of the race is Mr. Matt White here in that number 48 Nitro Chevrolet Camaro. Of course, that color scheme kind of reminds us of a certain 6-time champion, Mr. Jimmy Johnson, as it does look pretty close for that Nitro Racing Chevrolet Camaro. Matt White, another talented driver here in the Xfinity Series, brought to you by A Lot Cleaner. And, you know, we can't say enough about, you know, our gratitude for A Lot Cleaner for coming on and sponsoring the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series events here on YouTube, on Sim Racing Media, live on YouTube.com. And, of course, tonight also on Facebook. Glad to have everybody with us. As we do see y'all over there in our live chat. Looks like Leo Bonacasa going to be going to the infield care center, so we'll see if we can get a hold of him. Can't find him. Come on, Money House Racing. Leo, get yourself down to the broadcast waiting room, and I'll pull you right up because we want to talk to you about what just happened there as we're waiting for the green flag to drop once again. The iRacing.com pace car bringing the cars through the turn 4 area. He's looking right now for that downhill angle here. The iRacing.com pace car going to be dropping off the racing surface. And just as Zach Rinker comes into the Geico restart zone, his foot hovering above the loud pedal, he drops the hammer and we're back to green flag racing. And, of course, Leo Bonacasa not in Discord anymore, so not able to chat with him. Going to take a look here and see. Looks like Joseph Lester still sitting in the pits. We're going to see if we can get a chance to speak with him. Joseph Lester, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy? Nope. And he just disappeared, so I guess he didn't want to chat either. Well, then it's going to just have been a long night for a lot of these drivers. A couple of them at the infield care center, including Joseph Lester. Never fails. Never fails. No matter. We'll get back here to racing. 33 laps, so just about 12 laps to go now to the end of stage number 1. Mike Wright making his drive up here to the lead as he is now working his way up into second position. He's battling Logan Truitt as they're side by side coming here through the front stretch. Pretty good race so far. Zach Rinker now opening himself a half-second lead over Mike Wright and Logan Truitt. Of course, they're 3 wide now with RP Allen down here on the low side. They split Truitt and Mike Wright the victor, as now RP Allen getting a run here out of turn 3 as we roll into 4. He's got another run on the low side, but it doesn't look like Mike Wright is even the least bit, afraid here as we get ready to cross the start-finish line on lap 35. They dive into turn 1, and now it looks like RP Allen has overtaken Mike Wright for P2. Of course, just back here behind him, Dylan Ackart now making his run at P3 because, of course, at the end of each of these stages, these drivers are going to be awarded bonus points from 1st to 10th. So, of course, 10 points for winning the stage, all the way down to 1 point for finishing in 10th. As all of a sudden, RP Allen ready to just take on Dylan Ackart. And now RP Allen taking the race lead away from Zach Rinker. He has just driven this machine all the way back up after stopping to pit on lap number 19 and making it work as Rinker did not come down. So now the fresh tire brigade starting to make their way around your former race leader, Zach Rinker. RP Allen leading this race as it looks like Joseph Lester has decided to step back for a little bit, maybe take a minute here in the hauler with his car still on pit road being repaired. And Joseph, I understand, sometimes you don't want to talk about it after dumb things happen on the racetrack. But door to door goes Rinker and Bennett Allen now, as Bennett Allen is going to be on his low side. Of course, here's the thing for Rinker. Which position do you think he can hold on to? Right now, Rinker has about 7 spots between himself and the next driver who came down for pit service, or at least for tires, that is. As it looks like Chase Cabra in 12th position, going to be the first of that big group of cars that came down pit road, aside from these 3 that are up atop the pile. Zach Rinker only came down for a splash of fuel, so he's got to hold on for dear life and hope that Matt White, Mike Wright, and Logan Truitt all had burned up their equipment here in the first stage. 39 laps of 200 complete. I'm Dave Regal. You're watching Sim Racing Media, and this is the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series at Las Vegas. In fact, this is A Lot Cleaner's first night as the title sponsor of the Xfinity Series here on YouTube.com on Sim Racing Media. In fact, it's so new we haven't even gotten a chance to change our logo yet, but nevertheless, glad to have them on board with us, as thanks to them, we'll be making sure that you've got racing to watch every Monday night here. As your race leader, RP Allen, out here, almost making this look too easy, as he's got 0.7 of a second over Dylan Ackart. Ackart back here in the 66. I'm not saying he's not trying, but he's given it all he's got, and he just doesn't have enough to try to close the gap with RP Allen. So probably going to see him make some adjustments once they come in for pit service. Nicholas Breidenbach clawing up 26 positions to be running in 11th place right now. Looking great so far for this young man here in the number 24 Navy Chevrolet Camaro out of Orlando, Florida. So not only is Disney in Florida, but it's also, of course, Nicholas Breidenbach. Looks like Lola Loves Cats says, "Go Dad, let's go Chris." So I'm assuming she means Chris Claude. Not entirely sure. If it is, let me know, Lola, or Lola Loves Cats. I hope that's your first name. It's either that or Chris Custer. Chris Custer back here from Ohio in the number 18 Toyota Supra. Take a look right here at Chris in that Black Bullet Racing number 18 Toyota Supra. Looking good tonight in that black and white machine. As he's back there in 16th position, up 10 from where he had started. Jay Make 'em Listen says, "Let's go 1110 mods." So listen, these 1110 mods, guys, are so good week in and week out. And honestly, it's hard for a lot of these drivers to even try to get around them. The 1110 mods drivers, of course, being Corey Burkett, Zach Osborne, Chad Sanner, Zach Vaughn, and Chase Cabra. These drivers all night are going to be giving people fits on the racetrack. As we can see here, RP Allen, as he's going to come around turn number 4. Looks like RP here on the last lap of stage number 1 brings it out of turn number 4. He gets ready to cross the start-finish line, and RP Allen brings home that green and white checkered flag. We're waiting for Doug Argabright to pass the start-finish line now. And that is our stage break, folks. So at the end of stage number 1, drivers going to be assigned those bonus points. Going to be RP Allen, Dylan Ackert, Bennett Allen, Zach Rinker, Matt White, Mike Wright, Ryan Honeycutt, Kyle Ryan, Logan Truitt, and Doug Argabright. Rounding out the top 10 drivers who will be receiving those bonus points. Many of these drivers came down on lap number 19 earlier during a caution, but obviously Zach Rinker definitely going to have to come down pit road as he, Mike Wright, Ryan Honeycutt, Kyle Ryan, Logan Truitt, Doug Argabright, all not having come in. I'm sorry, Logan Truitt going to be the last of that first group of cars that stayed out during the last caution, still being awarded bonus points, and then Doug Argabright rounding out the top 10. And once everybody is bunched back up here, as I'm sure right now on race radio, a lot of the discussion is, come on, guys, hurry up, get back together. As we're going to see RP Allen dive down pit road and get ready to take wholesale pit stops here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Still not completely sure what's causing the problem here with our connection. To the best of my knowledge, we weren't having bad weather this week. I know we did last week. Right now, we're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling. With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway as we were trying to deal with some connection issues here on Sim Racing Media. Not sure what had caused that, but hopefully we've got it cleaned up for you. And it seems like we'll be fighting that all night, or at least maybe a little bit for now, as speeds look fine here on the hardware side. So once again, something we're not used to is usually we've got a pretty good speed here considering we're right next to the Xfinity hub. Of course, now I see that we have some kind of a winter weather advisory. That's always something fun. Nothing like being in the Northeast here at the end of winter. And yep, there it is, some bad weather rolling in. So, go figure. Just another night here as R.P. Allen going to be leading this piece. He's about to go fender to fender with Zach Rinker as Rinker looks to overtake him for the lead. Rinker comes in and he decides to get this underway. You know, of course, one of the things that I think about here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway a number of years ago, of course, the Pawn Stars cast and crew, or the Pawn Stars guys, if you will, gave the command here. Of course, when that particular show on the History Channel was really big. And you know what? Las Vegas is not what it used to be. I mean, of course, a city that was built on let's just say, less than savory personalities. And now, you know, is probably one of the largest resort towns in the United States, right there with Disney World, so on and so forth. And, you know, I'll tell you what, I'm not really that big of a gambler, but I'd be probably tempted at least to head on out here to the desert and, you know, maybe see what kind of excitement I could get into. You know, whether it's here at the racetrack, of course, the Clark County Museum, home of Mark from, of course, Pawn Stars. I think Pawn Stars probably opened up a lot of eyes to what else there is to do in Las Vegas. Of course, you can go check out the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop right here in town. You can also check out, you know, American Restorations. And Rick from over there, you know, this is not your grandfather's Las Vegas. Of course, one of the sadder things about Las Vegas, of course, is, you know, some of those Rat Pack days, you know, during the heyday, from the, you know, basically the early 60s right in through the mid 70s, Las Vegas was a poppin' town. And even now, it's a very exciting place to be. But, you know, it lacks that, to me, that excitement. You know, the tuxedos of Sinatra and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr., you know. Now it's a little bit different from tuxedos and you know, fancy rooms with, you know, cigarette people, you know, walking around. Oh, do you need a cigarette? Sure. You know, it doesn't happen that way anymore. But Las Vegas is still an absolutely exciting destination for so many different people. And, you know, obviously it's a big, exciting place for race fans as Zach Rinker here going to be leading the pack once again. Side by side, though, are Dylan Ackart and Mike Wright. You know, these drivers all last season long, you know, Mike Wright, Matt White. Mike Wright, Matt White. They were always near one another. It's a broadcasting nightmare to try to read those words as they get around Brandon Minto in the number 12 Upside Ford Mustang. You know, these drivers continually are out here doing battle, and it's just something exciting for me. You know, even from here in the broadcast booth, it's less stressful for me in the broadcast booth because I'm not down there trying to survive this race. You know, as we've got about 31 laps to go now in stage number 2. But, I mean, you know, Mike Wright and R.P. Allen already had the hammer and tongs out this evening as they're out here trying to do battle going down the back straightaway toward turn number 3. You know, this is probably more of a reason to go ahead out here and check Las Vegas out because, I mean, you know, right next to the racetrack, of course, is Nellis Air Base, and that, of course, is why it's the Nellis straightaway on the backstretch. Something that the great Tony Trapasso had talked a lot about in last night's Cup Series race. And, you know, tonight, again, some really great, clean racing, and to me, that's the top of the mark. You know, when you've got clean racing, and, of course, sponsored by A Lot Cleaner, kind of makes sense. These drivers here in the Xfinity Series, to me, are cleaner than just about anyone else that we see, even in the 3 tiers of the SNN family of Cup Series racing. Of course, you know, we've got last night's results from here. There it is. Last night's results from here at Las Vegas, of course, Brandon Sheridan brought home the checkered flag with Nick Stein in second, Ryan Samuelson in third. Seba Cornez and Jeff Carson rounded out the top 5, and that's why I really was excited to see Jeff Carson do well tonight. Of course, right now, he's back here running in 22nd position Not really sure if he's down on power here in the number 9 Micro Center Toyota Supra. But, oh, there it is. We'll take a look right here on that right rear suspension, as we can definitely see some wrinkling here. Maybe a little crack here in that front nose. And there's the real crux of the situation. We can see all that damage right here on Jeff Carson's Toyota Supra. But he's still out here. He's still making laps, but, you know, finishes 5th last night. Of course, Alex Princeton finishing 7th. Eugenio Alonso was wrapped up in that mess earlier. Eugenio now running in 27th position. Obviously some problems here with that 86 machine. The Buenos Aires native, always one of the strongest drivers on the racetrack. Leo Bonacasa out tonight, you know, finished 9th last night. Lauren Jones, who had himself a pretty rough evening earlier tonight, he finished 14th last night. And, you know, you can see right here on the rear of that number 11 Cheetos Toyota Supra, as we go here to our chopper cam, you can see a lot of damage right there on his machine. In fact, we can get this chopper right in here. Almost looks like Chester Cheeto got a little too excited and just rammed into the back of this 11 machine. But so far, so good tonight for Zach Rinker, who's back up to the race lead. Dylan Ackert still back here doing battle with R.P. Allen. And lying in wait like a lion in the weeds of the African desert is Mike Wright. And Mike Wright is one of these drivers who, you know, you can bet dollars to donuts and take this one all the way to the bank. He will be waiting there. Just waiting for one of those gazelles to make a mistake. And that's just the kind of driver that Mike is. And you know what? It's an absolutely incredible way to be. It takes a lot of discipline. Of course, as we see the 93 machine of Chase Cabra, he's out here trying to make it happen, Captain, if you will. Once again, Dave Regal here in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth. Glad to have all of you with us tonight. Looks like there's quite a lot of you right now watching together. Make sure that you're giving us a thumbs up, subscribing, and turning on those bell notifications to Sim Racing Media, specifically the SNN family of racing series. And let us know in the live chat who you're pulling for tonight. You know, let us know. Is it going to be, you know, R.P. Allen? Is it going to be Bennett Allen? Is it going to be one of our dark horse candidates like Doug Argabright or Chris Claude? And, you know, I don't want to... Last week, I swear I felt like some kind of a jinx, but when it comes to consistency, I think of Chris Claude. You know, he is out here week in and week out. Of course, the chief cook and bottle washer of the SNN Cup Series. And, you know, when we see Chris get into that groove, especially when he really likes his setup for that night, you know, especially when that chassis is twisted in just the right way, Chris will go out here and he will be top, you know, 15 by the end of this race. Of course, all three of the usual suspects from the Joe Gibbs Racing family, the 9, 10, and 11, all running together. Of course, the 8 not on track tonight. That's, of course, driven by yours truly on a Sunday night. But right now, Joe Gibbs Racing holds the 8, 9, 10, and 11s on Sunday nights. And, you know, although we keep talking about Sunday nights and what happened last night, I do want to talk to you about tomorrow night, right here in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. At 8:15 Eastern, we'll be going live for the Jackdown Motorsports Victoria's Voice Foundation 200 here in the Truck Series. And, you know, basically we do it a little bit backwards from what Real NASCAR does. Of course, Real NASCAR, Friday nights trucks, Saturdays Xfinity, and Sundays Cup. But we do Cup, Xfinity, and trucks. No rhyme or reason. It just happens to be the way that it is. And nobody complains. Everybody kind of seems to, you know, get along with it. They accept it. But glad to have you all with us. Make sure that you're, like I said, giving us a couple of likes, making sure that you're sharing for us. As, you know, we're trying to get your friends and family out here as much exposure as we can get them. Because, you know, folks, these drivers are working so hard all the time, you know, to get better at their craft. And you know, yeah, there's some people that might snicker in a corner and say, oh, haha, you know, this is an imaginary car, an imaginary racetrack, and an imaginary weather, and so on and so forth, and the list goes on and on and on. But at the end of the day, the cars react a lot like the real world. The weather reacts a lot like the real world. Everything acts a lot like the real world. There's a lot of work that goes into this preparation, and we just want to make sure that these guys out here are getting the recognition that they need and making sure that they're getting the attention that they need. And right now, we're going to step aside and let you folks at home turn it up here on Sim Racing Media.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where Zach Rinker has proven himself to be the Pied Piper of Clark County, as he's still running this race and leading it with more than a half second over Mike Wright in the number 98 Ford Mustang, and that fresh market Ford Mustang. You're watching the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series, brought to you live here on Sim Racing Media. A Lot Cleaner, of course, the company of Mr. Tony Burt. Tony out here running in the 4 machine. Had some unfortunate things happen earlier on in this race, but Tony's still out here getting it done in the number 4 machine. Currently up 4 positions, running in 28, several laps down, but trying his very best to keep that 4 machine cranked back up. I mean, you know, he can be working as hard as he wants and might even be able, if he can hold off Rinker, to try to get that at least that 1 lap back. As right now we have Rinker, Wright, White, Allen, Ryan, Truitt, Cabra, Ackert, and Cabra and Ackert are back here exchanging blows right now. The pitchforks and torches haven't come out yet, but right now it looks like they want to be side by side and not be giving up any room to one another. As we can see these two drivers trying to get it done, getting ready to cross the start-finish line with now 5 laps to go in stage number 2 as we're working our way toward lap number 90, and then we'll have 110 laps to the end of this piece. Not a whole lot of cautions for cause, if you will, which is a good thing tonight. Of course, I don't want to lay down that broadcaster's curse, but so far so good in tonight's contest here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Right now we can see RP Allen perfectly fine back here, hitting his marks, as does brother Bennett in the number 15. Of course, Bennett hasn't really moved anywhere, but when it comes to moving, we should probably get Matt White a U-Haul, because he is the biggest mover on the track tonight as he gets ready to haul it on through the tri-oval here on lap number 87 now. So things starting to get interesting. Of course, glad to have you with us on YouTube. Lots of you watching tonight. Glad to have you along. In fact, you know what? I am reminded here. I'm looking for him. Looks like Joe Stafford. That's my guy. The pride of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Joe Stafford, in our YouTube.com live chat. Listen, I'm telling you right now, he is the driver of the number 57 machine on Sunday nights, and Joe Stafford, night after night on a Sunday night, will give you fits while you're trying to get around him. Last night, kind of a rough night for him, but he finished 23rd, but he did manage to pick up about 23 bonus points last night, did Joe Stafford, but finished 4 laps down after some unfortunate goings-on the racetrack. Last night was pretty rough in the Cup Series, but Joe, always glad to have you with us, and of course, we're only separated, Joe and I, but probably by 20 minutes and 1 highway, as he's just outside of Philadelphia on one end of 476, and I'm at the other end. So, Joe, glad to have you with us as always. But taking a look here, make sure that you're getting over there onto Facebook. Search the SNN Xfinity Series. You can always check us out over there. But right now, working our way back through the field. Got to be honest, not a whole lot going on. Closest battle right now on the track is between the 56 and the 24. And not much of a battle so as it is, as it looks like Honeycutt trying to gain on Nicholas Breidenbach in that Navy Chevrolet. But Breidenbach starting to drive away from Ryan Honeycutt. Of course, you know, I think BJ Honeycutt, of course, from MASH 4077. But I'm pretty sure they're not related, considering BJ was completely fictitious. Of course, oddly enough, when we were out in Las Vegas, and that is the end of stage number 1. Zach Rinker bringing home the green and white checkered flag. I guess I started rambling on just a little bit too long, folks. as Zach Rinker, Mike Wright, Matt White, R.P. Allen, Bennett Allen, Logan Truitt, Kyle Ryan, Dylan Ackert, Chase Cobber, and Gabriel Lafreniere out here from St. Jude up there north of the border in that Oxymore Chevrolet Camaro. He's going to round out the top 10, so he will get 1 bonus point. Zach Rinker going to pick up another 10 bonus points as we're going to get ready for wholesale pit stops here. We're going to see if we can take a look here at the static from our static blimp cam. And, of course, right now the cam not rotated properly, but the airfield that names the straightaway, if you look right here in the foreground of your screen, that's going to be the Nellis straightaway. And, of course, that's because that straightaway just happens to be, you know what, I think I can change this. There we go. Just outside of what would be the Nellis Air Base, which you can see right here just toward the horizon. So, obviously, giving a little tip of the cap there. Of course, this racetrack has a bunch of different configurations. We can see, you know, there's the road course where you can see probably a section of the bus stop, of course, here, and then also just outside here, the Bull Ring at Las Vegas. Of course, a great short track for those of you interested in short track racing. I know I am. Short track racing is kind of an acquired taste. We're not going to be at a short track next week here in the Xfinity Series. We'll take a look here at our upcoming schedule while everybody is going to come down pit road as we see Zach Rinker going to be right here as we wait for that contest to come off of pit road. Breidenbach just flew off of pit road as if it owed him money. And Nicholas Breidenbach going to be coming off a great pit stop unless he didn't get a chance to pit. We'll find out momentarily. Of course, next Monday night, we're going to be at Phoenix International, Phoenix ISM, going to be using that open dogleg. Then we go to Atlanta Motor Speedway on March 19th. Of course, I will not be available for that as I will be in Florida, which, of course, you know, although that I'm here calling NASCAR tonight, baseball is my passion, and finally get a chance to go to spring training down there in Florida for some Grapefruit League action with my dad, which is pretty exciting. I mean, you know what? It's always interesting when you look back and you think to yourself, you know, when you were a kid, as Nicholas Breidenbach dives on down pit road, cycles himself back through. You know, for me, you know, when you're a kid, you know, maybe you bump heads with your parents, so on and so forth, but I'm absolutely proud to call my dad my best buddy. You know, sometimes when things get a little rough, first person you got to call is dad. And I'm very fortunate to be blessed with a pair of parents that are absolutely supportive, and you know, can't say enough about it. But I'm very excited to be going down there to hang out with Dad for some spring training baseball. But back to it, the 19th we're going to be at Atlanta Motor Speedway, then COTA, the Circuit of the Americas, on March 26th. April 2nd, we finally get a little short track going on there at Richmond Raceway. Then we go to Bristol Dirt, and that's going to be interesting. Not sure how that's going to work. Last year we had a little bit of trouble because there wasn't a dirt tire model for these Xfinity cars, but I guess we'll see what happens. Looks like Chad Sanner stayed out. He's going to try to get himself a lap back here. And then April 16th we'll be at Martinsville, and then we go from extremely short in Martinsville to extremely huge at Talladega Superspeedway at the end of April 23rd, before we go, of course, to the Monster Mile. Just about 2 hours from my house here in suburban Philadelphia at Dover Motor Speedway. And as we're getting ourselves ready for Stage 3, the final stage of this piece here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, looks like it's going to be Mike Wright on the inside alongside Zach Rinker, who just won the stage But Mike Wright just getting out ahead of him on pit road. R.P. Allen and Bennett Allen going to be starting side by side in row number 2, with row number 3 made up of Logan Truitt and Matt White. Chase Cobber and Kyle Ryan going to be starting in 7th and 8th. Ryan Honeycutt and Dylan Acker are going to round out your top 10. So these cars definitely have seen better days. We're going to, at least some of them, we're going to pull up that all-important information here. Outdoor ambient air temperature still 70 degrees, but that track cooling off a little bit, so we're going to see some grippy action here in this final stage of the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series at Las Vegas. Of course, a fun fact there, I am talking about baseball. Of course, Philadelphia Phillies' very own MV3, Bryce Harper, giving the command to start the engines on Sunday afternoon for the Cup race in real life. But right now, what's real is Zach Rinker taking off, getting out of here like a shot out of a cannon ahead of Mike Wright and Bennett Allen, as we are back green flag racing in stage number 3. Rinker, Wright, Allen, Truitt going to be your top 5 here, as Bennett and R.P. Allen have been running nose to tail all evening long. And speaking of nose to tail, Logan Truitt says, I want that 4th position, as he's ready to just take it away from R.P. Allen. R.P. Allen, whoa, the back end of that 20 machine getting a little loose coming out of 4. That's a continual trouble spot. That transition between turn 4 and the front stretch here is something that we see time and time again affecting these drivers. Not sure what brings that on, but at the end of the day, it's usually something pretty nerve-wracking overall, especially as you're trying to boogie around this piece. Looking to see if maybe there's anybody on pit road. No, sir. Everybody either put it on the hauler, as I'm looking to see here. Looks like Zach Osborne, Joseph Lester, John Crow Sr., Leo Bonacasa, and Matt Gaskins all having put them on the hauler tonight. Brandon Minto, the last car in the field right now, running in 32nd position, just this side of being a modified. We're going to take a look right here, if I can find it. The native from Norman, Oklahoma, Brandon Minto, unfortunately not having a great night tonight, but got to be honest, any other night of the week, he would be one of the people that I would gladly put my money on. 102 laps complete here in the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series race at Las Vegas. We're now past the halfway point, so it's all downhill from here now, as we're past that century mark and past that halfway point of this piece. Right now, a lot of close battling deeper back in the field. I see Lauren Jones and Jeff Carson trying to get around Breidenbach, but right now it looks like Lauren and Jeff, two teammates, going to be running door handle to door handle, and now Lauren decides to maybe just get behind Jeff and try to draft with him a little bit. Maybe they can work together to get up to Breidenbach. and get ready to start making some hay here in the hot desert sun, which of course would be perfect for hay drying, if you will. You never want to put the hay up when it's too wet, and right now it's still too wet as these drivers are still out here doing battle. All of a sudden we see Eugenio Alonso and Aaron Mack trying to hold off Breidenbach. This little three-car trio, wow! An aggressive move from Eugenio Alonso, the Buenos Aires entrant to tonight's race. He's not ready to give up anything to Breidenbach easily. And even though Breidenbach just got past him, he had to really fight for that, that's for sure. Taking a look right now at Kyle Ryan. He's got some time back there to honeycut and just a little bit of space between himself and Matt White, about 0.3 of a second. You can see that right there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, folks. That 0.3 of a second, you know, from the cockpit is even closer than what it looks like here. And we'll take a look here what we can see on Kyle Ryan's helmet cam. That 0.3 of a second is an absolute blink of an eye. Still watching this battle for 14th as Eugenio Alonso chases down Aaron Mack and pulling along Zach Vaughn as he's got about 0.2 of a second back to Vaughn. Vaughn, of course, working his way along Jeff Carson. Carson not trying to give it up easy as Vaughn is right on that left rear fender and matching Carson step for step. Of course, we do want to talk about tomorrow night's truck race at 8:15 right here on Sim Racing Media, and of course on Facebook. We'll be simulcasting yet again. Tomorrow night's truck race should be pretty interesting. The Jack Dow Motorsports and Esports Simulators Victoria's Voice 200 from right here in Las Vegas. And I'll tell you what, you know, you see a lot of truck series, you know, leagues on the iRacing.com servers, and yeah, you may think, oh, gee, it's another truck race. And it's not just your average feeder race either for the B cars here at Xfinity, or of course the A-Class in the Cup Series. You know, the trucks are a completely different ball of wax. They take a completely different discipline to drive. These drivers that are in our Cup Series, you know, of course, coming tomorrow night, they are out here working just as hard as everybody else. And, you know, here I am now starting to watch another connection issue. 2 weeks in a row with bad weather. Not a good... Wow! RP Allen getting a little loose, starting to dirt track it a little bit. Let's run that back, as that's worth another watch. Going to take a look here from the chopper. And here he is. Just as they come into one, you're going to see the rear end of that 03 just get a little loose, but he is somehow able to keep it together as if he was dirt tracking. I mean, that takes talent in and of itself for the young man. You're watching the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series live on YouTube on Sim Racing Media. You can also check out Sim Racing Media on simracingmedia.com. We're also on Twitter at SimRacingMedia1. And, of course, over here at Sim Racing Media on Facebook.com. I'm Dave Regal, and this is the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series. 113 laps in the books tonight here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I cannot be more thrilled with some of the racing that we're seeing tonight. I mean, you know, sometimes these can turn into a snooze fest, and this is just not one of them. But while we talk about that, we're going to step aside and let you turn it up here on Sim Racing Media.
What's up, guys? Roger Diebel, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling. With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
What's up, guys? Roger Diebel, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Take a look right now at a battle for 16th position as Jeff Carson trying to get up here. 17th position as Jeff Carson trying to get up here alongside the 09 of Brandon Loomis. Loomis holding the high side, but Carson had some success last night running the low line, and it looks like he's doing it again right now here on lap number 132 of 200, and he manages to get around him, secure that 17th spot, does Jeff Carson. Now we take a look up here to our race leader as we pull up that beautiful bean footage here from St. Charles, Illinois. Quite an image there, if you ask me. I'm not sure if that's a groundhog or what that is. But Zach Rinker, your race leader, he has been dominant all night long. Of course, qualified on the pole. R.P. Allen started in third place and now has worked his way up to second. And at this point, I think we're going to see him hanging on here as he gets ready to close in on Zach Rinker. Now taking a look at Greensboro, North Carolina's very own Mike Wright.
That would help, I guess, if you folks
could hear me. Lap 134 of 200. Zach Rinker, your race leader.
He's up here from St. Charles, Illinois.
Not sure if that's a groundhog or what the deal is here.
With this picture on his
information banner.
R.P. Allen running in second position.
He's up one from where he had started. Back in third. Mike Wright up in third. Right now up 6 positions from Greensboro, North Carolina. Matt White in the number 48 Nitro. Chevrolet Camaro, he's up 31 positions. That is the biggest move that we have on track as he started 35th and has now managed to work his way all the way up here
into the top 5
and nearly the top 3, so he's getting ready to battle it out
for one of those all-important
podium spots as he's now getting ready to take a look here
at that left side fender on Mike Wright, and not blocking, but
definitely not coming off of his line.
As we're 3 wide here,
Tony Burt trying to get out of the way. 2 wide goes Bennett Allen and Logan Truitt with Kyle Ryan in tow.
From Wilmington, not sure if that's North Carolina or Delaware, wherever that could possibly be. Needless to say,
always an impressive thing when you can see these cars go 3 wide, not make a mistake, and that's something that we see in this Xfinity series.
Although this is the B cars,
these are harder to drive in some ways than a cup car.
The torque at the rear end is very different.
That final gear ratio
usually twisted just a little bit tighter. Part of the issue becomes
waiting for that rear end to step out.
Later on in a run. In a green flag run, that is.
In a green flag.
Jack Dell Motorsports letting me know that I'm echoing. Not sure where that's coming from. I guess we'll have to take a look here. Jack Dell Motorsports, does that make a difference? Let me know. I know where that came from. As we go under caution, in fact, while we go under caution, I'm going to fix that right now. Let's see what brought out that caution, as it looks like Nicholas Breidenbach with an incident back here. As we're going to take a look. Oh, and Breidenbach just has that rear end step out. Oh! And with no place to go, just gets nosed in by Jeff Carson. If you just stand by, John, because I know you're watching there with Jack Down Motorsports, let me try something here.
John, right now, tell me if that fixes. John, let me know if that how that sounds now that I'm back on camera here. Looks like I may have been having a little bit of a microphone glitch where the camera microphone was trying to pick up what this one should have been, and they were listening to the same thing at different times together. So, John, just let me know if this sounds okay, as I'm waiting for you to talk here in the YouTube live chat. As we are pit stop galore, Rinker comes off of pit road in P1, R.P. Allen running in second, Mike Wright in third, Matt White in fourth, Bennett Allen in fifth. Chase Cobber comes out sixth, Logan Truitt, Kyle Ryan, Ryan Honeycutt, and Gabriel Lafreniere rounding out the top 10. Oh, of course, now there's static. Well, maybe the camera thing just isn't my deal tonight. Not sure what's going on with it.
We'll get that sorted out at some point. I guess I'm going to have to play with it in the spare time. Of course, in my spare time, here I sit in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth with you fine folks. Glad that you're making us a part of your evening. John, I appreciate you. No, Rich, I just saw it now. I do see the static. That's what brought that up. Oh, my. What a night. Rich Jett, of course, one of our entrants from last night. Let's see how Rich did last night, as a matter of fact, since we're kind of hanging out here. Rich Jett was an entrant last night in our Cup Series race. I did keep seeing him pop up on my relative. There he is. Rich Jett finishing 10th position last night, so in his debut season with the SNN Cup Series, he nets himself a top 10 position. And in fact, as I'm looking here, we're going to take another look here and see exactly where Rich might have landed last night. Oh, this is the worst, trying to find people. Nothing like not having a searchable. Let's try this. Here we go. Rich Jett currently 5th position right now in our Sunday Night Cup Series, as he's in his debut season. I don't want to call it a rookie season, that's for sure. But 3 races in, and Rich Jett running in 3rd position right now. Of course, he is racing for Smoked Out Racing this year from Pennsylvania. So, Rich, let me know from where in PA you happen to be hanging that flag there. There's actually, this is interesting, you know, of course, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer and Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series Commissioner Chris Claude, he's from down there in Tennessee, but there are a lot of Pennsylvanians driving in this league across the 3 series between Cup, Xfinity, and Trucks. You know, there's enough of us floating around. Of course, the great Joe Stafford, now Rich Jett, John Bawalda, of course, myself, Sunday nights and Tuesday nights full-time, Bob Nestor. Let's see, who else from Pennsylvania? It's kind of weird, to be honest with you. It's not often that somehow we all... Schwanksville. All right, done deal. Of course, being from here in Philly, I don't really get to go to Schwanksville very often, that's for sure. I'm just kidding. Schwanksville, you're only, what, 20 minutes from me? I mean, I'm here in Conshohocken. We're separated by, let's see, a half hour? So it looks like, John, it looks like we've got another person to take to Dover this time around. As we are back, green flag racing, 144 laps in the books. RP Allen sliding up in front of the 48 machine of Matt White. Matt White not being fooled whatsoever. They do the old switcheroo. And it looks like Matt White going to try to take that low side here. Mike Wright just behind Matt White. Ooh, that's a tongue twister if I ever heard one. Rich Jett, he grew up in Philly for 13 years. My sincerest condolences. Right now, Philadelphia is kind of a war zone. And speaking of a war zone, the front row of this piece just got real hot with about 55 laps to go. RP Allen and Zach Rinker duking it out here. Don't look now, but I think right now Zach Rinker's getting ready to reach down and grab his hammer as RP Allen getting ready to take the tongs, and they're going to go to town on one another here. RP Allen coming out the victor of that battle, but the war is far from over. In fact, the war 54 laps, and don't look now, but all of a sudden Chase Cabra, who wasn't satisfied with being a bridesmaid at Daytona, at Auto Club, has now decided to claw himself up here into P2 as he is working around Zach Rinker in the 49 machine. They go door to door going into turn number one as they dive on through. All of a sudden, on exit, Cabra getting one heck of a run, and wow, Rinker almost backing into the front bumper of Mike Wright. Logan Truitt now getting involved as he's got the 20 Ford Mustang cranked all the way up to crazy. All of a sudden, RP Allen having to deal with a lot of traffic here. He and Zach Rinker trying to handle something. As Chase Cabra, let's take a look at that run that he just made at the lead. As Chase Cabra, your new race leader, he manages to work his way right on around. There we go. As he manages to work his way all the way around RP Allen. We're going to see Cabra getting a run on the untreated 1 and 2. And all of a sudden, that air gets disturbed on the rear bumper. And that spoiler of the 03 driven by RP Allen. And the rest is history as boom goes the dynamite for Chase Cabra to take the lead in this piece now with 50 laps to go. Here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So your new race leader, Chase Cabra. Pretty interesting night for him as, you know, he also in his debut season in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. Sorry about that, folks. You know, one of the tough things doing what I do here is I'm working alone tonight is, unfortunately, sometimes I've got to be clicking and reading all at the same time, and sometimes it's almost like the comma becomes a ... that becomes a couple of hyphens to hang off the end of a sentence. But Cabra last week, he led 41 laps, but Logan Truitt still coming out. You know, our race leaders last week, we had quite a few. We had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 race leaders. 13 lead changes and 13 cautions, and tonight we are far under that in this piece as Chase Cabra leads the way. Logan Truitt, last week's winner, after leading 59 laps, running in third position tonight. So his night's certainly not over. All of a sudden, Dylan Ackert and Ryan Honeycutt ready to go at it here. As Ackert looking at the low side of Honeycutt, he's got a run going into 3. It's almost like he's trying to pull off a side draft. He's just, whoa, they nearly made contact coming out of 4. as Acker got a little too tight and nearly ran Honeycutt into the wall. And now he slides right in front of Honeycutt, and that is about the whoa. Honeycutt driving with a purpose right now. All of a sudden makes a little bit of contact there. We're going to take a look and see if we can't get this right at the moment of near death. As we're going to try to get this right here on the old row bar. We'll see exactly what's going on. And there we see the 56. And definitely a little bit of contact. Nothing major, though, as the 66 has now set sail over top of the 56 of Ryan Honeycutt. Meanwhile, Eugenio Alonso getting ready to go at it with Gabriel Lafreniere, as Alonso has the Oxymore Chevrolet Camaro in his sights. So two of our international entrants getting ready to go at it tonight. Of course, Finn Robinson, not having a good night, has decided to put it on the hauler. Our third international entrant this evening. 157 laps of 200. So just about 43 laps remain in this piece. We're going to step aside and let you folks turn it up one more time here on Sim Racing Media. Heck of a battle for second position going on right now in lap 165 of 200. About 35 to go here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series race here in Clark County, Nevada. Dave Regal here in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth. Glad to have you all with us on the YouTube.com feed and, of course, over on Facebook as well. And I'm not sure if this is that Chase Cabra, but John, I guess we're going to have to find out. Oddly enough, John, checking out Chase Cabra, looks like I'm going to go with maybe. How does that sound? Let's try maybe, as he is driving the number 93. Going to have to do a little research and digging here. Once again, kind of the downside of working all by my lonesome. Not the same car number, John. I'm not sure. We're going to have to... If we get him on the podium, we're going to have to find out. I can't imagine there's too many guys with that same name. But we've got a pretty hot and heavy battle for the lead as well, as Matt White from Stewartville, Minnesota, is up here. Minnesota, don't you know? The 48 now leading this piece. In third position, he's chasing down Logan Truitt and Zach Rinker. Rinker, once again, your race leader. A little kerfuffle here a few laps ago. Back on lap 161 as Chris Custer may have bitten the dust. We're going to take a look. We see the 18 coming into turn number 1. Not sure. There it is. Nope. Wow. I'll tell you what, there were some calls for, well, you know what, we're gonna take a look right again at that, because that looked, I'll tell you what, if this was real life racing, that fella right there would probably be on his way to the infield care center. Gonna take a look right from the cockpit so we can see exactly what he saw. Definitely not the way that Chris Custer wanted to end this run tonight, as that 18 machine definitely hurting a lot. But we've got a three-way battle for the lead right now, as we've got just about 30 to go out of 200. Right now we can see Matt White having worked his way up into second position. It looks like he's drafting right off that rear bumper of the 49 driven by Zach Rinker. And right now atop the pile, it goes Toyota, Chevrolet, Ford. So a nice little mix here on what would be the podium if we went checkers right now. But we've got a long way to go yet. 30 laps, as a matter of fact, which is about 45 miles. So we'll see, as these drivers not going to be put to bed early tonight, as it looks like Matt White trying to do his very best to get around the 49. And it's just not happening. Once again, I want to remind you folks at home about tomorrow night here at 8:15 Eastern. Just as I'm looking for the graphic, there it is. The Jackdown Motorsports Victoria's Voice Foundation Truck Series 200 here at Las Vegas. So once these guys get the Xfinity cars up on the hauler, We'll be rolling out the trucks for tomorrow night, and I'll tell you what, this is John Bawalda's second year as commissioner of the Truck Series, and you know, when it comes to leadership, Chris Claude really does know how to pick them. Last year, of course, was Chris Claude, Bob Nestor, and John Bawalda, and this year, no different as, my goodness, Matt White with a bumper full of Zach Rinker for quite a while here coming through the front stretch, and as they go into turn 1 and 2, we're looking to see if White might be getting himself a run, and it looks like he's getting a pretty good draft going down the backstretch, but then loses that run going into 3. Rolling into 4, however, is when he gets more momentum, and that energy just builds up in the 48, and he's able to draft up behind once again the 49. So it goes 49, 48, 20, 1, 2, 3 here at Las Vegas.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling. With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. butt kicker. The future is feeling.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're going to go NASCAR nonstop at this point and keep it right here with 16 laps to go in this piece here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series. I'm Dave Riegel. This is Sim Racing Media, and you're watching us live on YouTube.com and Facebook. Glad to have y'all with us this evening. As right now, your race leader is Matt White in that Nitro Chevrolet Camaro. He's followed by Zach Rinker, who has led a good piece of this race, and Logan Truitt. Just behind him is Mike Wright, Kyle Ryan, and Chase Cabra. The money stops have completed. So 140 would be the last time any of these drivers from 16th all the way up through first position. So with 15 to go, there shouldn't be too many questions about whether you can make it on fuel or not. Of course, some of the other drivers just recently coming down, all laps down. Jeff Carson, Aaron Mack, Chris Claude, Sean Kelly, Zachary Vaughn, and the list just goes on and on. But right now, the way that it seems, they're all nice and spread out here by about a half second each. And now Tony Burke getting ready to come in, as he's still down a couple of laps here. About 5 now by my count. So things starting to get quiet. Whoa, the 49 getting loose coming through 3 and 4. This is where you start to maybe breathe a little slower here as you're trying to keep those nerves in check. And right now, the scariest position to be in is Logan Truitt, because Mike Wright, a dominant driver last season here in the Xfinity Series, he's all up in the 20s business here with 13 to go now. And it looks like Mike Wright going to be making the pass right here at the start-finish line, as Mike Wright going to steal away that third position from Logan Truitt. And Truitt not necessarily giving up the ghost there, but definitely recognizing that Mike Wright, who has been saving tires all evening long and making the right adjustments, whether it's tire pressure or chassis adjustments, he is now dialed in. And if I was Matt White or Zach Rinker, I do not want to see a caution come out here. Especially because that means Mike Wright going to be lining up. If we threw the caution right now and everybody stayed where they belonged, Mike Wright would be lining up second car on the low side. White, Rinker, and Wright going 1, 2, 3 here. The 48, the 49, and the 98. Of course, it's kind of a fun thing. Double the number of Zach Rinker, and you've got Mike Wright. And Logan Truitt may have burned up that equipment a little too soon, as well as R.P. Allen and Chase Cabra. We'll see exactly who's decided to bring it pit side here. Looks like Dan Morgan bringing the pit side. He's getting ready to roll back off. And so far, with 8 to go now, Matt White leading Zach Rinker and Mike Wright. Matt White has now opened himself up a 1.6 second lead over Rinker. And a lot of that is him using these lap cars as a pick, as now he makes Chris Claude his next victim. As Chris Claude, I'm sure, has been doing his very best to try to strategize and get those laps back when he can. But unfortunately, we have had a fairly clean race all evening long, with now just 7 to go. Rinker maybe closing the gap a little bit here, 1.4 seconds now up to White. But this is go time. I mean, with 7 to go, you've got to get up there. And you know, barring some type of unforeseen kerfuffle, this may be how it all looks once the man in the stand changes that checkered flag out for, or changes that white flag out for a checkered flag. Tony Burt still trying to hold off the leader, going to be Matt White's next victim here. And when they cross the stripe right here, we're going to go to 5 to go. So 5 laps left in this piece. Glad that everybody has stayed with us as long as you have, because, you know, I got to admit, sometimes this is not an exciting place to race, you know, especially because we can get these green flag runs and maybe there's not as much once everybody gets split apart. And right now, with 5 to go, as they roll out of 4, it's going to be 4 to go when they cross the stripe. Looks like Matt White just having to work around Chris Claude here, your Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series commissioner. He's able to get himself out of White's way, just in case there's not enough W's in your vocabulary. Here we are. Bennett Allen has now dropped Dylan Eckhardt just 14 positions right now. Your biggest mover is Matt White, who's up 34 positions after starting 35th. So, folks, you know, you don't often think it can't be done, but I'll tell you what, it absolutely can. As now we're 3 laps to go here. That crowd getting ready to get back to its feet. And, folks, I hope you folks at home are on your feet. As we're 3 to go, and just behind Matt White, there's a battle going on right now for that final position on the podium. Matt White having a 2.27 second lead over Rinker. Now, R.P. Allen and Mike Wright about to get it out and go hammer and tongs here as the popsicle sticks are in the air. And we've got 2 to go at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. R.P. Allen dives it into turn number 1. He's got to be able to drift up a little bit if he wants to maintain this 3rd position. He gets the run out of 2 down the backstretch. He barrels down the backstretch on his way down to turn number 3, dives it into 3, and all of a sudden, just like that, Kyle Ryan and Mike Wright are going to go at it for 4th position. Looks like Dylan Eckhardt and Doug Arterbright not able to finish as the popsicle sticks are down and the white flag is in the air. We are racing back to checkers here on the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Dave Regal on Sim Racing Media, live on YouTube.com and Facebook.com. Make sure that you turn on bell notifications, subscribe, and get reminded every time that we are live. As right now, your race leader, Matt White, rolling out of turn number 4. He's got the checkered flag in sight, gives a little bit more throttle. He crosses the start-finish line, and Matt White is your winner here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series race here for the SNN Xfinity Series. It goes Matt White, Zach Rinker, R.P. Allen going to be on the podium tonight with Kyle Ryan, Mike Wright, Bennett Allen, Logan Truitt, Chase Cabra, Gabriel Lafreniere, and Ryan Honeycutt rounding out your top 10. What a great finish to this race. And right now, here in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth is your race winner, Mr. Matt White. Matt White, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
I've got a copy. How are you tonight?
Man, it is good to hear your voice tonight, as it's been a little while since you've been up here in Victory Lane.
Yeah, had a rough start to the season, missed the 500. Had a bad week last week at Auto Club, came back with some redemption to get victory here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, take us through about those last 15 laps where, you and Rinker were just going at it, hammer and tongs. I mean, this was a pretty calm race overall, everybody hitting their marks, but you guys, on the other hand, able to go door handle to door handle without killing one another.
Yeah, I mean, it just, comes with racing with each other, over the past year or two, especially there at the end. I was running the bottom feed, he was running the top for the most part there. We ended up switching. Got ahead of him there because I was trying to push him into the fuel window, and he was trying to save, and I was just able to squeeze out a little more.
Yeah, when you're trying to push people like that, I mean, it can get a little hairy, and the fuel window in these Xfinity cars is something to behold in and of itself. I mean, it's got to be tight. How much fuel did you have left here at the end?
I ran out coming out of turn 2 on the back stretch there, so that's why no burnout or anything tonight. Literally nothing left. But yeah, just I knew the cars were going to slow down, so it was just going to be easier to save when I'm already going 32 flat compared to trying to save up front when everyone's doing 31 flat, so to speak.
Right, and here toward the end of the race, there were a lot of guys that burned up their equipment. Chase Cabra, one of them. I mean, were you tire saving or were you just getting lucky?
I was saving a little bit. The first 2 stages, I had to climb through the field in stage 1, but stage 2, I think everybody kind of knew what they had. There was like 5 or 6 of us that were pretty much on top of each other. Like we all finished in the top 7 here, but yeah, so kind of when it came down to it, we all knew what we had, and good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, congratulations on the win tonight. And before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank for this run here in the, by the way, I was talking about your paint scheme earlier. It looks a little suspiciously like 6-time champion Jimmy Johnson, but instead of Lowe's, it says Nitro. I mean, what a paint scheme. Who do you need to thank besides Nitro to end the evening?
First of all, I just want to thank everybody here at Monday night, Sunday night, and Tuesday night. They put on a good show. Want to thank our series sponsors, A Lot Cleaner, for being on board this year. Want to thank, like I said, Nitro, Dan Shamoon. He put on a heck of a setup this week. Want to thank Alpine Stars for being on board, and Virpil Controls, and just all the teams. We put in a ton of work each and every week to get the best we can out of these cars.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations, and I guess we will be wind up seeing you next week, and it's a completely different track, completely different feel. So, good luck next week, and we will see you then.
All right, sounds good, David. It was awesome to talk to you.
As always, my friend, good to talk to you. That is Matt White, winner of the race here in Las Vegas. Next up on our tour here of the podium, going to be Mr. Zach Rinker. Hey, Zach, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, man, listen, congratulations tonight on this P2 win. I was just talking to Matt. I mean, you guys were going at it the last 15 laps, hammer and tongs, and then all of a sudden things started to really spread out for you. Were you trying to save fuel and just keep it together here at the end?
Yeah, I had to go start saving pretty hard there right at the end. Didn't really expect to go green there and didn't want to lose the track position, hoping it was going to run all the way out. So it's kind of made what I could out of it and finished second.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often that we get a chance to see two Midwestern boys up here, with Matt being from Minnesota and, of course, yourself being from Illinois. So it's always nice to see people that, in real life NASCAR, it's like, oh, it's North Carolina, South Carolina, it's Alabama. It's cool to see people from the Midwest being able to kick some butt here at Las Vegas. And, I mean, as we're looking toward next week, I mean, what are you thinking as we're getting ready to rock and roll through, a pretty interesting schedule here in the Xfinity Series? This next week we're going to be down in another desert in Phoenix.
We were pretty good at Atlanta, or at Phoenix at the end of the year there. Just had some bad luck. I expect we should be a little bit faster now. The pay to win setups, Xfinity program has been really kicking butt lately. Really turned over another leaf there and been really turned up the pace.
Yeah, we were talking about pay to win earlier on in the race. I mean, I personally use pay to win, for my cup setups on a Sunday night, and they seem comfortable, at least for me and my driving style. I mean, pay to win is one of those sites that, they really, it's neat when you get deeper into a week, especially because we don't race these cars until Monday nights. Sometimes you can see version 2, 3, and occasionally a 4. But before we cut you loose, is there anybody else that you need to thank for this run tonight?
No, I just really appreciate all the work that Scotty and the boys been doing over there. They're just really, really helpful. Just be able to load the setup and go and run strong like that.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations, and we will see you next week at Phoenix.
All right, thank you.
That was Zach Rinker finishing second on the podium this evening, but last and certainly not least, somebody that we seem to talk to a lot here post-race, whether it's on the top step or anywhere else here on the podium, Mr. R.P. Allen. R.P., it's Dave up in the booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Hey, man, listen, here we are again. It seems like, we might as well just start PMing each other and figuring out what we're going to say at the end of these races.
I wish. Today was a very hard race. Rinker and White were just really, really fast. White should have been top 3 most of the race, but he kind of let Mike kind of take the lead of their group. And I tried my best to try to stay behind Rinker the whole race. I ran second most of the race, but every time I got to the lead, I got deathly loose to the point where it was hard to control. So, I'll take a third after all the gas mileage stuff. But yeah, all around good race for me.
Yeah, I mean, once you get out there in that clean air, usually you kind of expect a little bit more downforce, coming onto the nose of the car. But it was something that we had talked about last night in the Cup Series race, that it just seemed like the wind was a major factor. Did you find that tonight?
Maybe that was it, but I just think it was my setup. My setup was perfect in traffic to where I was able to cut through the field stage 1, but I just could not lead at all. So, and that's how you win races. So, and then Matt had the right idea with trying to get to the lead, then save, and it works for him. So, kudos to Matt White.
Yeah, Matt definitely fought the good fight tonight. I mean, listen, you started where you finished where you started, so it's not necessarily a failure of an evening. I mean, you're still here on the podium. So what are you looking forward to next week going into Phoenix?
Phoenix is not my best track, but my brother won the championship there last year, so hopefully I can get some pointers from him, and we'll run around the same places as we did this week. So looking forward to it.
Well, we talked about, people and their favorite tracks and so on and so forth. I mean, last week at Auto Club, I believe, no, wait, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was Truck Series. I don't remember. Crackers. I can't remember. Maybe it was the Truck Series. I don't know. But whoever I was talking to, they said, Las Vegas isn't my best track. And I said to them, a lot of times when you know that something's not your best track, you wind up practicing it, hundreds more laps, throughout the week. Is that what you're thinking as far as, preparation for next week?
Yeah, I'll probably run some B opens and try to get a little bit of practice, at least with saving tires and managing my equipment. But honestly, another top 5 would be fine.
All right, man. Well, listen, before we cut you loose, is there anybody else that you need to thank for tonight's run?
Yeah, Money House Racing, they've been good to me. So shout out to them. And see you guys next week.
All right, brother. Well, listen, congratulations on that 3rd place finish, and we will see you next week in the next desert down in Phoenix.
Yeah, man. I'll see you there.
That was, of course, the great R.P. Allen. When we say the usual suspects, he's one of them. More often than not, we see one of the Allen brothers on or near the podium, if not in victory lane, on a regular basis here in the SNN family of races. Of course, we were talking about it earlier, and we just want to touch on it once again. Tomorrow night, 8:15, going to be the Jackdown Motorsports Truck Series, the Victoria's Voice Foundation 200 right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So yet again, another exciting race on the horizon for us. And before we get out of here, I want to take one last look at our final results as, a lot of these drivers, they had some rough nights deeper in the field, but bringing home the checkered flag, Mr. Matt White in the number 48 Nitro Chevrolet Camaro. He was followed by Zach Rinker and R.P. Allen on the podium. Kyle Ryan, Mike Wright, Bennett Allen, Logan Truitt, Chase Cabra, Gabriel Lafreniere, and Ryan Honeycutt rounded out the top 10. Then we have Eugenio Alonso, Michael Astuto, Dylan Ackert, Aaron Mack, Brandon Loomis, Doug Argabright, Sean Kelly, Chris Claude, Dan Morgan, and Jeff Carson rounding out your top 20. Then as we get even deeper back here, Zachary Vaughn, not normally this far deep in the field, but he finishes 21st. Corey Burkett in the 13 machine finishes 23rd. Tony Burt, of course, the proud owner of A Lot Cleaner, the title sponsor of our new Xfinity Series race league here on Monday Night NASCAR on Sim Racing Media. Tony Burt finishing in 24th position. Mark Brewster, Chris Custer, Chad Center, and Ron Fitting finishing in 28. A big field tonight as we still have Nicholas Breidenbach, Lauren Jones, Finn Robinson, Brandon Minto, Joe Stafford, Zach Osborne. There's Joe Stafford. I was looking for him earlier. I don't even know how I possibly missed him, except that Stafford, of course, finishing 33rd and just getting 71 laps in tonight. Zach Osborne, John Crow Sr., Joseph Lester, Matthew Gaskins, and Leo Bonacasa finishing the top 38. And Bobby Anderson, the last driver, of course. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt Gaskins, the last driver here in the field of 38. So a lot of drivers to get through tonight. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's all about Matt White, who brings home the checkered flag. And next week, of course, we're heading, on this continual West Coast swing in NASCAR. And, that's a big struggle for the real race teams because they've got, replacement cars that have to get from track to track. And if you tear up your equipment at one place, they wind up having to send, 2 replacement cars. It becomes a whole nightmare. And, fortunately here on iRacing.com, we're able to just click reset or open up a new racetrack on our files. So kind of an interesting contrast between, iRacing and the real world. But at the end of the day, we had ourselves one heck of an exciting race here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in Clark County, Nevada. And, I think as we look forward to next week at Phoenix, everybody better get excited because the season is just getting, a full roll going here in week 3. We head next week to week 4, and it's only going to get better from there. So for everybody here at Sim Racing Media and the A Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series, the SNN family of racing series, I'm Dave Regal saying tomorrow, as you go through the day, you need to find that one happy thing, that one good thing, and hold on to it. Because with a happy thought, you can fly. Good night, everybody.